over 30% of skills shift for the same role. It's actually going to go up by 2030. 70% of the skills you need to be successful in your current role will shift.
What about the women, Ruchi? Is there a different way in which the women are thinking about this whole?
40% more women compared to 36% men are actually investing in their skills, learning more, especially when we talk about even all the fields on the rise, AI skills, AI literacy. Then women want to be 100% sure that they are capable of that role, they're ready, and only then they'll apply.
Yeah, but if you don't give yourself a chance, just try and see what can happen. That whole concept of, stopping it in my head and saying maybe I'm not good enough. Fine, let's try. What's the word that describes your relationship with sales?
Love. My relationship with sales is love, results, excitement, thrill. Not one word, I've given you so many.
The theatre piece also happened, right? Somewhere in the middle. You found time for that also.
And I joined the theatre group, English theatre group, and I ended up performing a lot of plays in Pune. I was in the telecom sales. I must kind of give you this background. I was actually the only non-engineer in the 21 management trainees that were hired. And while I was enjoying the sales part of my role, I felt it was too technical. I was reading voice and data every day. So I used to feel that और 2 साल करूँगी मैं पूरी engineer बन जाऊँगी. I think Gen Z are very optimistic and bold in terms of the choices, and they're clear as well. For them, what's more important is.
Welcome to the very first episode of People Connect's Women at Work podcast, where we bring to you stories of successful women leaders. Our luxury partners, Mercedes-Benz Landmark Cars, and our styling partners, Vero Moda.
Jobs, openings, career opportunities. Do we have your full attention now? Aren't these top of mind questions for all of us? Who better to talk about this and more than someone who lives and breathes the talent that is India day in and day out? Welcoming to our show, Ruchi Anand, Head of Talent, Engagement and Learning Solutions at LinkedIn India.
Hey. Good to see you.
Hi Ruchi.
Always such a pleasure.
So good to have you here. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Are we set?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go. Let's go.
Okay Ruchi, so LinkedIn we all know, right? I think we go to the platform like 10 times a day to be more relevant, active, etc. etc. But let's start with who is Ruchi? What were your early years like?
Well, firstly, Anjali and Kavita, so exciting to do this at the wheel with both of you. This is already so much fun. Well, yes, going back to my early days, I born, brought up in Pune, simple childhood. I would just say that, few things that I can probably call out that shaped how I was. I mean, to give you a sense that I did my schooling, my college, my post-graduation, everything from Pune.
Okay.
And my aspiration was that I want to work in Mumbai. So, wahin tak ki soch thi, if I put it that way. But that itself was, exciting for me. I grew up with, my parents working. Mom was working in a nationalized bank. Someone who I still don't feel I can match up to her energy.
Don't we at all? Like, I think they are like next level.
Absolutely. So, with both parents working, we had a very different, like I would say, a lot of things were normalized in my childhood, I would say.
Yeah.
Because my father loves to cook.
Wow.
He grew up in a very, always seeing him in the kitchen as well.
Nice.
And my mother, always learning new skills. So, she, despite being a person with disability, she was someone who not only was working in the bank, but just to give you an anecdote, like way back in the early 80s, she enrolled herself in a evening college to do her computer diploma and did her COBOL Unix in early 80s. So,
Global unique scene in the 80s.
early
Unheard of.
80s. Yes. I often share the story that, I've seen what a Sinclair computer is, where a tape recorder and a cassette tape is used to program, connecting it to the television,
Wow.
So, but yeah, that's something in terms of, like they say, worldview. Your worldview is shaped by a lot of things that you see and grow up,
Yeah,
right? And I
yeah.
think that, and so for my younger brother and me, I think thanks to the way we were brought up,
Yeah.
I think we got fairly independent very soon as well. And also, I think a lot of core values that have been, like, I feel now I can look back and say that shaped me.
Yeah.
And I think a few other highlights from my college, I think, which I really feel that have shaped me, apart from, great friends and the education that I've had. But I spent 4 years as a NCC cadet. So I did my C certificate. I was a battalion under officer. So
Wow, Ruchi,
Yes.
that's amazing.
yeah, so that's also shaped a lot of, I feel who I am. I owe
The
a lot of that.
discipline, the
Yes, yes.
ability to, I think,
Yes,
just
and
be there, do it
Just be
right.
there. Yeah, just to I would say, to be able to adapt,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because when you go out for camps for 10 to 12 days, right from putting the tents together to even digging the, the creating the bathrooms, if you call
Wow.
them. I think just being able to, I think that's taught me a lot. So yeah, so that's who I am, Anjali.
And then the theatre piece also happened, right? Somewhere in the middle. You found time for that also.
Yes. So this was after my first job. I got placed on campus. I was working in Mumbai for 2.5 years, and I joined GTL. So I was into telecom sales, and I must kind of give you this background that I was actually the only non-engineer in the 21 management trainees that were hired. And while I was enjoying the sales part of my role, I felt it was too technical. I was reading voice and data every day. So I used to feel that और 2 साल करूँगी मैं पूरी engineer बन जाऊँगी, So I thought of taking a break and really taking time to think about what I wanted to do next.
Okay.
So I took a break, and I was like, till I figure out, I want to be very clear where I apply. I didn't want to just apply, not even like updated my CV till then. So I took a break, went back to Pune to be with my parents, and I joined a theatre group. I joined a theatre group, English theatre group. We did, and ended up performing a lot of plays in Pune,
Wow.
based on a lot of English authors. Like we did P.G. Woodhouse, we did so a lot of those type of Indian adaptations of.
And now you passed on that to your son.
Well, I'm glad that he's taken a bit of it, and he enjoys theatre too. So
But
Yeah.
In 2000s, to take a break, to figure out how you should shape your career, Ruchi,
Bold
that was
move,
not-
bold move.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That was not the norm.
If you take a break, you're out. Finished.
But I also think that maybe I didn't know any better, Kavita, to be honest. Now when I look back, I can say that, that time this was not aligned, that was not aligned. But at that time, I just felt that, I really wanted to figure what I wanted to do. I knew I was enjoying sales, but what and how I wasn't sure. So, but I'm glad that break also I was able to kind of do so much of theatre. And I started enjoying it so much that one fine day I was like, I think I'll just be doing this, so I better get serious about my job search. And that's how then I, like, after a few months, got into it again.
But Ruchi, you started very early in sales, and then a full career full of sales. And what got you hooked on, and what's kept you going?
Well, I've firstly, I've never had this, I never found sales intimidating. And there is again a backstory to it, because I grew up in a household. My father was a development officer with LIC. He was responsible for recruiting and grooming agents.
Oh.
And he
The
had
original sales
original
organization.
sales organization. And he would, like, March 31st was a real thing in our house. I've seen quarter ends, and I've seen year ends.
So you've grown up with that.
I've grown up with that, and so that's why, like, it was very normal for me. I didn't. It was never that. Thankfully, it wasn't intimidating. That, oh my God, if I get into a career in sales, will it be? But also, like, I feel I personally find it very fulfilling. My career in sales, yes.
So 31st March, real dates for you, and continue to be, right?
Absolutely. We live by the quarter.
Yes, correct. So, Ruchi, jobs, right? We've seen jobs change, we've seen generations change at work, etc. So, where do you see all that going? What are people really looking for when they're looking for jobs?
So, in fact, like, when we look at LinkedIn data, what we've been seeing so far is that obviously financial stability, opportunities to learn and grow, and an environment where you feel respected. I think these are broadly, I would say, out of 5, 6, but at least the top 3 themes that come across. And when we see generational cuts of the same, we see slightly different. So if you look at it from a Gen Z perspective, I think Gen Z are very optimistic and bold in terms of the choices, and they're clear as well. What we're seeing is that they are, apart from financial independence and having a good compensation, for them what's more important is the purpose and values. That we see very clearly. For them, what are the kind of organizations they're working with? Is that organization helping create a positive impact in the society, community? Those things matter a lot. That we're clearly seeing. For I would say millennials, it's more about financial stability to support their families, but it's also they're very keen on making sure that their roles offer opportunities to learn new skills and advance their careers. And Gen X, on the other hand, what we've seen is that for them, what's important, again, financial stability, like I said, is important again, but they want reward, recognition, and respect. That is something that comes across very, very clearly. Am I working in an environment? Do I have that kind of environment where I'm contributing and I'm also recognized and
so it's also from an org level, right? Today's workforce is asking for a org value purpose to what
100%.
my leaders are doing, to what I am doing. It has to all come together for me to be more and more productive. I think that's
100%.
what today's generation is really looking for.
Yes, I agree.
What about the women, Ruchi?
Yeah.
Amongst them, is there a different way in which the women are thinking about this whole thing?
Well, I'll just add a layer to this in terms of what we're definitely seeing is that if I look at the connection between women and skills, women are definitely, compared to men, again, statistically as well on the platform, what we see is that they are even more willing to invest in themselves and learn new skills so that they can advance in their careers.
Wow.
However, what we've also seen is that lack of time, exhaustion, multiple responsibilities holds them back.
Tell us about it.
And I'm sure that, like we were speaking earlier,
Yeah.
the I would say the chaos in the mornings for all 3 of us was different to get here, right?
Yeah. Just
What
to
are we
show up,
juggling?
right?
What
What are
just
you
to show up?
fighting?
What are we? But and actually that conversation which we had earlier reminded me of. I think there was a study by Bain, which said that career progression is very similar to mountain climbing,
Yeah. Okay.
and women have a similar, like I would say, the mountain climbing skill or potential like men, but the terrain is much more harder or difficult for them. So many more twists and turns and
like you remember that image of that racetrack
Yes.
where it was
I
clean
was
for the
just
men
thinking of
and
it.
there are like
Yeah.
from a
You're
washing
jumping
machine
from
to a
bucket.
utensil thing to
100%.
whatever
Yes.
in on the
100%.
tracks for women to navigate and then say, okay, now I'm going towards my
Yes.
destination.
100%. But going back to my earlier point, Anjali and Kavita, while I said exhaustion and all that, like managing time, because there's just so much only that women can do. They are still, like we're seeing that 40% more women compared to 36% men are actually investing in their skills,
Wow.
learning more, especially when we talk about even all the skills on the rise, AI skills, AI literacy across the spectrum, as well as the skills like strategic thinking and innovation, creativity, which are now becoming even more important, are clearly something that we're seeing that women are continuing to embrace more. So which is great.
Just the intention is the first spot,
Intention
right?
is the first one, and they like they do find a way. However, it would definitely be much better if more and more women have the right kind of support system as well as that environment where they they can have actually there are equal responsibilities at home and even at work. You don't end up like they say, right?
So
Even
equity,
at work,
right?
you don't need
It's
to
the whole equity conversation that
100%.
we need to drive.
Yes, totally agree.
Yeah. But it's tougher, right? I mean, whatever levels you are at, and especially mid levels, managing to stay on course is tough. And then if you've taken a break, getting back to what you deserve. We're still seeing people who say that, because you run a break, I'll give you 20% lesser. or I'll not give you the exact level that you were at. Come at a lower level, prove yourself, and then we'll see where you go.
Yeah.
So it's always a conversation which is pull and pull. But Ruchi,
That's
I
why
think the
Anjali,
platform.
I want to say this as well. That's why the work that you do
Yes.
really enables a lot of women to come back with your,
Return to work programs, yeah,
and all
yeah.
of that. So
But
that
Ruchi, my favorite, right? Why don't women respond to messages on LinkedIn? More and more women should respond quickly to in-mail sent.
it goes back to the main the famous research that we always talk about, right? It goes back to this point that women want to be 100% sure
Yeah.
that they are capable of that role. They're ready, and only then
Yeah.
they'll apply compared to 40% men.
There was that 7 on 10 skills
Yes,
versus
yes,
2
yes.
on 10
Yeah.
skills
2
or
on 10
something.
skills,
maybe.
yes, yes.
Yeah, but if you don't give yourself a chance, just try and see what can happen. I like that whole concept of stopping it in my head and saying maybe I'm not good enough. Why? Let's try.
Yeah.
What will happen? Maybe you'll just hear a no and say, okay, you're not ready yet, but let
Yeah.
me put myself out there.
Yeah, and maybe at this point, I do want to kind of call this out that why it is also important. Until you bring up an important point, I think to everyone who's listening, one thing we need to be more and more intentional, rather more than mindful,
Yeah.
intentional about is see today the way the entire landscape, work landscape, and jobs landscape is shifting and evolving. It's more and more a very skills first era, right? When I say skills first, it's about what kind of skills. So today what has changed from earlier is that today it's not about job titles alone. Like we don't look at it as job titles alone, like when you're hiring in a skills first environment. It's about a collection of, you look at jobs as a collection of skills and tasks.
Yeah.
There will be certain tasks that will get automated,
Yeah.
but your role will evolve. That's why when we keep talking at LinkedIn, that we've seen a skills shift. Up till now we've already seen over 30% of skills shift for the same role. It's actually going to go up by 70%. By 2030, 70% of the skills you need to be successful in your current role will shift,
Wow.
which means that your role is evolving, right? So nobody for that matter has what people are looking for. You'll not fit 100%.
Yeah.
It's always about your adaptability, agility. Do you have the learnability? Which everyone is. I think in one way, personally, I feel it's become a level playing field.
Yeah.
Everyone has to reset, right? So
And with
If-
AI and all the
Yeah.
newer things that we are hearing, if are jobs going to go or change, or what are you seeing?
no, so like I said, with this, to the point I make on the skills shift that we're seeing, the way we see this is it's all about newer jobs rather than fewer jobs. And let me give you an example.
Yeah.
We were talking about, when you asked me how I started, when I was thinking about my first job in sales. At that point of time, it was all about cold calling, making sure I'm mapping the area well, knowing each nook and corner of the territory that I have been assigned. Today, it's all about, do I have the right ability to do research well on my portfolio, on my customers, their businesses, their business. So am I using the right research tools? Am I using AI tools? How am I prepping for those meetings?
So sales is no longer running after
Not at all.
mindless. It's not
Not
mindless
at all.
anymore. There's so
It's
much science and
Science,
research to it.
a lot of data, a lot
Yeah.
of insights. And I, like I was saying, for me, sales personally for me is all about empathy, because you are actually going to understand. It's about understanding the implicit and explicit needs of your customer.
Yeah.
It's about problem solving. You're trying to uncover more and help and solve a problem. There's always a problem that you're solving, right? And third is, it's a lot about result orientation. And I feel that, you're able to get tangible results basis the kind of efforts you're putting in and a lot of factors that come into play. So that has evolved, definitely. And so coming back to the AI point also, Anjali, you're making, even if you look at various roles, like we keep saying this, your job is changing even when you're not changing your job,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's
Correct.
evolved
Yeah.
so much.
Correct.
So,
And you have to be like so on point with what's happening in the world, upskilling, reskilling.
Yeah.
I think actually, in a way, it may be easier for women to come back to work because, like you said, it's a level playing field, and it's about the skill that I know. Do I already invest in myself and get the skills of the future in the time that I have as a break, right? Because, like you're saying, we are intentional about it, but
Yeah.
we get the time to push it through. So it's
You know, when you talk about this, I'm actually my childhood friend. She's just come back into the workforce after almost 15 years.
okay.
Okay. She took
15
a-
years is a
yeah,
long break.
15
Yeah.
years break. I mean, she was of course an educator in between. She was teaching children, a lot of communication skills and all of that. But she's come back to the corporate world now,
Okay.
and like you said, it's a level playing field. I feel that the skills that she brought in when she was, going through the process, were so much more valuable.
Yeah.
It's just about, I think it's just the confidence gap sometimes that
Yeah.
holds
Us
women back. Yes, that will I be able to? And I think in such a short span of time, because I speak to her so often, I know that she's ramped up so well. The kind of responsibilities that she's able to take on, it's all about, I mean, that's the skill that hiring managers are looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Ruchi,
agility, ability to manage. I think
Yeah.
that's really the
Absolutely.
differentiator.
Absolutely.
There's this other thing you were mentioning, right? That evolution of sales from
Yeah. Yes.
cold calling to research oriented.
Yes.
I know there's one level of level setting or level a playing field for the women, but does this also make it, more thoughtful and more research oriented for women to get in? Because a lot of the bottlenecks that women had, a few decades back with sales was late hours outside, building those connects, going cold calling door to door, etc., etc. With that shifting, this is actually a good problem to have. I was just thinking about it. But what do you think? Because you've done sales across,
Yes.
that time
Different
and this time.
sectors.
So,
Yeah.
Definitely, I would say, because it has evolved so much. Even if you look at it, right, it's a lot of. Anyways, I would say even during the time when I started off, when it was cold calling phase, even at that time, I feel that women continue to have a lot of the core skills that are required to be successful, which is the human skills. Like I say, when I say empathy, right? You never relate often. You don't often relate sales with empathy, but it is about that. It's about unarticulated needs of your customers, to be able to kind of listen and lean in. Women have the radar on, like they say, right? We have our radar on. There's so many cues that you pick up that what
Yeah.
would be work right. So if you think about it that way, and yes, to your point, what's evolved now, there is so much which is, yes, research backed. When you are well prepared, even customers today, think about the customer, they're also short of time.
Yeah.
And today, also think about how the buyer cycle has also changed.
Yeah.
Today, be it a consumer or a brand or a B2B, right? If it's a consumer who's buying a car the research before they walk into the, let's say for example, they walk into Landmark to buy a Mercedes. Before that, they would have done a lot of research.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
know what they want.
You
They're
know.
actually going there
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
last mile look and
Yeah.
feel.
Correct.
Similarly, even if you're buying technology or you're buying any of those decisions in a B2B environment, there's a lot of info that is there that the customer consumes. So are you going to meet the customer, you're not just to walk them through the journey, but more about helping them as a consultant to take the right decision among so many options, right? So that definitely, and I feel those skills are very strong with women. They're very strong with women, and I feel that all the more, yes, those bottlenecks of today, half of the sales calls are also virtual, right?
Yeah.
I mean, are you and customers are also comfortable. I mean, in the last 5 years, we've seen that change as well.
Yeah.
So if these things hold women back into a role in sales, for example, that I'll have to travel too much or it's a lot. But yes, you should enjoy the result orientation aspect. There will be ups and downs. There will be, I mean, that aspect is there. It will
The
give you a
whole
lot
thrill,
of financial.
the thrill.
Yeah, the
that you
thrill is
do.
there, but the downhill is also there.
Yeah.
Like you have to have the resilience that okay, one quarter did go well or this has not worked. Am I willing to learn from that and pick myself up and
Show up the next
show
day.
up again, right?
So who's Ruchi the leader? We've heard all about your career, but who are you as a leader?
Well, that's a tough one. So I feel actually I'm really a product of all the investment that's happened in me, thanks to all the other leaders, mentors, friends, great colleagues I've had. Who am I as a leader? I would say that for me, what's most important is connection. that is really at the core, like, you know, what we also talk about, relationships matter. That is very important for me. You know, to be able to even, like, for me, first and foremost, most important is to build trust, to gain trust within the team, with stakeholders, with, you know, with people we collaborate with. I think so that human connection at the core is most important for me. I think from there, I would say, if I think about it, that's the starting point for me. And yes, I really like to. Firstly, I feel that what makes anyone successful, and but similarly for me, has been hiring great people, having very good. I'm blessed to have a very good.
So
team
you have
and
an
colleagues.
eye for the right talent.
Yeah.
Yes, I hope so. I do think, yes, it's shown so far. I've been intentional about it, and I've also been lucky. And I've worked with great people, great teams. So I think that makes me.
Can I add one more?
Yes, please.
Humility. I think that's your number one trait
Oh,
as
yeah.
a leader,
I
which
can
really
say that
changes
too.
the game
Yeah.
for somebody like you.
Thank you.
In our experience, Ruchi, of whatever work that we've done together, I think that really stands out for us.
That's very kind of you. Thank you. So, yeah, I mean, I just feel that firstly, connection is important. Human connection, very, very important, because at the end of the day, we work with humans, with
Yeah.
one another. So it's like we keep saying, bring your authentic self to work, bring your whole self to work. It can only really matter or mean anything. Those words can mean anything if we actually get to know each other
Yeah.
and see each
Yeah.
other's perspectives. Where is the other person coming from? So it, like, for example, even when conflicts happen, because conflicts, healthy conflicts, are a part of work, right? That will happen, but you're able to resolve it only if you are able to see each other's perspective, and you know, you can respectfully agree, disagree. So treatment, respect is very important, and you know, creating that psychological safe space, because I wouldn't want things which I feel uncomfortable about, like how I would not like to be managed is not what I would like. You know, the fear of judgment always kind of throws us off track,
Yeah.
right? So if there is that safe space, that makes a lot of difference. So I do feel that what we were speaking about earlier, I like to work with people who are also great at challenging, you know, like, we're not just, that's where the cognitive diversity comes in.
Yeah.
Because a fresh perspective is you know, only possible when you kind of have that, you have someone who's challenging suddenly, and like, will just I help, like, people who help me see my blind spots, you know, really.
Yeah.
Like, I feel I really value
and
that.
also we are only as strong as our teams are, right?
100%.
So that
Also,
point
I
about
think-
hiring good teams is really really important.
And also, I think sometimes it's important to remember, and all that you say make me remember that we spend bulk of our week time, annual time at work,
Totally.
and that has to be pleasant and right for all of us concerned.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, it simply doesn't stack up.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like, you know, we were going back to that conversation of what people across different generations are looking
Yeah.
for. Yes, financial, you know, support and independence, and you know, good compensation is required, but treatment, respect, all these things. Like, how do I feel every day? And that's where, you know, I feel that as much as we even talk about DEI, and we talk about inclusive teams, or inclusive leaders, even the best of organizations with the best of policies will only work if the role of the first line manager is
Most
Absolutely.
critical person in the
Absolutely.
value chain.
most critical.
And that's where culture
yes.
gets set, right?
Culture gets set, absolutely. So how does every team member feel within their immediate teams with their first line managers is most important. That's their first line, right? So so you know, to be able to create that importance of all of this within the entire team and the culture, I think is very important for me.
Okay, that's interesting one, Ruchi. Okay, if you were going to leave our listeners and viewers with one point of advice, what would it be for, especially for our women listeners? What is that one point that you would like to say?
Well, I'll say, firstly, I think we all are always on this journey of building more greater self-awareness. I feel that is important. It's personally helped me as well, because the more I uncover and learn more, look at more patterns. You know, when you when you are more aware, then you're able to kind of work on it.
Yeah.
So either your strengths, it could be more awareness around your strengths, as well as areas that you want to build on, right? And the second thing I will add, Anjali, is that since you're asking, especially for women, we are over feedbacked. There is a lot of feedback that keeps coming our way. So take what is important, or take what you,
I
filter
think
it.
everywhere in our lives, right? From
Yes.
our children, spouse,
100%.
Everybody is so ready to give
you know,
feedback.
100%.
Yeah.
You know, there are-
This is not fine. This
Yes.
is not right. This is not
So we
right.
are over feedback. I think how do we balance that? We can't control what we can't control.
Yeah.
But yes, if we can be clear about calling it out, that okay, I hear it, or
Yeah.
are you asking for feedback? Don't go asking for too much
Yeah.
feedback.
Yeah.
Ask where it is important, yes, but also take it in a balance,
right
so that
spirit.
noise doesn't. Yeah, because what happens is we go into this spiral. I find
Correct.
myself also into that. Many times I have to catch myself where you go into the self-critique spiral then,
Yeah.
and that really is very damaging. That really blows up our self-limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
So I think that's very, very critical.
And that also links to what you said before, right? If we are more self-aware, we'll know what part of the
Yes.
feedback makes sense
Yes.
and what
What do I
part we
need to
should
listen
filter
to
out.
and what do I not
100%.
want to act on?
yes.
Okay, that brings us to our final segment, which is the rapid fire segment. And Ruchi, are you ready to go?
Yes,
So
let's
we're
go.
putting Ruchi on the driver's seat, huh?
Yes.
Metaphorically.
I don't mind switching places.
What's the one bold move that you made in your career that shaped your journey?
One bold move. I do feel that what I spoke of earlier when I took that career break, and I was intentional to be clear in terms of even if I join any organization, I want to enjoy my time in sales. I think that really helped, because I ended up joining InfoEdge in the early days, Naukri in the early days. Stayed with them for 10 years, grew as the organization grew. With LinkedIn now, I joined LinkedIn over 12 years ago. So being able to kind of, maybe I was lucky, I was in the right place at the right time to join organizations early on, and able to grow and scale as the organization scaled. So maybe that, if we could say that, what's that career move?
Yeah, like we were discussing that joining these places before they became the big names we know today, and really contributing to make them the big names.
Yeah.
Ruchi, what is that one job that you'd like to try? If not this one, of course.
Well, I have two, not one.
Okay.
So, of course, theatre, my love for theatre. I many times wish that I had gone and studied in the National School of Drama.
Oh, wow.
And the second one was, I almost was going to join the Short Service Commission after my
Oh,
NCC.
wow.
NCC.
Yes, I was inclined towards joining the army as well. So those were two where I was, but I did have, at least I can say, I was able to do at least a pilot in some sense with both, with theatre and with my experience. with
Who
NCC.
knows, in the next part of your life, maybe one of these things comes alive.
Never say never.
You never said never, correct.
True.
Okay. Ruchi, we've talked about the advice that you would like to give, but what's the advice that you received in your career so far, which stayed with you?
Well, I must call out, I think one thing, career advice that stayed with me, if I talk on a professional context, which I heard from one of the leaders early on, was, when you think about career, think about it in 3 steps, right? First is nail your core job.
Yeah.
Second is have a vision. Have a vision in terms of directionally, what direction you want to go next. Maybe it's not clear that this is the job role or title, but it's just direction. Have a vision. So you're building skills and experiences towards that. And third is make yourself redundant. When you say redundant, is that you do so well that you are building a strong legacy. So if someone else takes over that role, it's successful.
Yeah.
You're building that for success, and you're ready for
The next one.
bigger things. But on the personal side, I do want to say that I don't give my husband enough credit, but I should should give him that much credit, because I think he keeps me grounded and keeps it very real for me.
And especially when you have dual careers, right?
Yes.
It's really tough to manage all of that. If you don't have strong support, it will never happen.
Support system indeed is very, very critical, very, very important. I think we all always keep talking about that. Number one on our list, most important, is going to be our cook, our house helper,
Oh yes,
you know, all of that. So it is
Number
important.
one for sure.
For sure,
Yeah.
sure. It otherwise breaks the, just throws us out of gear.
Yes. What's the word that describes your relationship with sales?
What's your love? I just my relationship with sales is love, results, excitement, thrill. Not one word. I've given you so many.
Yeah. And I think that's like sums it up for us, that's drives you to be the person you are every single day, and doing this amazing work that you're doing with LinkedIn and outside as well.
Thank you. And like I said, I'm blessed to be a part of not just great teams, but great networks like our Power Women
Wow.
Network,
Yeah.
and just getting to, continue to push myself to get better each day, because, I get to work with and be with amazing leaders and amazing women like both of you. Thank you, Kavita. It's been such a pleasure. Thank you, Anjali.
And look forward to many, many more such conversations, Ruchi.
And that's a wrap on our pilot episode of People Connect's Women at Work. A special shout out to our luxury partner, Mercedes-Benz Landmark Cars, and our styling partner, Vera Moda, for supporting us and helping us bring these conversations to life to you.
If you liked what you saw, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on our Instagram handle, and stream us on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your audio podcast from.